Hey everyone, this is Martin, the developer of Retentional, and this is an update video talking about reports and some interesting insight that I've had the past couple of days. And so I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. So the first thing is just a quick update for everyone who's interested. The report section, I'm now working on that, and I've got a sort of rudimentary chart up and running. So this is the percentage here on the y-axis, and then the number of tests that I've done for this particular memory palace. Now this is just a test one. This is just 1 to 3 as digits. That was just for a test. The one that I have just done a moment ago before making this video was the 52 card deck randomized test. What I found interesting was that after 2 days here, you can see the middle one here, which I got 51 out of 52 answers correct. So that was basically when we do a test, we randomize the cards, the questions, and then I'm trying to recall them from the memory palace. I got 51 out of 52. That was done immediately after memorizing it. So obviously it's going to be a lot easier. It took me around 16 minutes to memorize and around 30 minutes for the test. The one that I've just done now, which was around 2 days later, you can see the 5th of February and the 7th of February here. This red text is just debug text. For those of you who don't know, it's just the raw data to help me visualize and understand things as I'm building this application. But 2 days later, I was able to recall 33 out of 52. Now, I was quite surprised by this because I literally have not thought about the images and the scenarios that I did in the memory palace to remember these. So I was quite surprised this was a good number. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn by saying this. It's just it does show that the memory palace technique is working for me in terms of being able to recall things. Now, one of the interesting points that I wanted to make as well is that I didn't have a date anchor with this set of cards. Now the date anchor, for those of you who don't know, is a little tool that I've added down here on the left side. So if I'll display this by opening up something. So if I go to codebook 13, let's say, I've got the date anchor here, which is the word DOM. Now I use the major system for my date anchors. Now D is 1, M is 3, so I know this was 13. I'm using it specifically for dates. So I know that on the 13th day of this year, 2021, I was trying to remember these 5 words. And Dom as in Dom Toretto, as in Vin Diesel's character from Fast and the Furious, is my mnemonic for the number 13. So as I'm going through my memory palace here, I put in a series of images and animations and a little story for each of the places here in the memory palace. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, what I've found is as I'm kind of trying to train my memory, as I'm trying to improve myself, is basically that when I use a date anchor, it is much easier, because for the 52 card thing that I was doing here, and I'll open this just so it's a little more interesting visually for you guys to look at. Card deck randomized, it's that one there. If I open this, and you see here, I didn't add an anchor word. Now this can be anything. For when it's released as a beta, this can be anything you want. An anchor word, you can leave it blank if you want. It really doesn't matter. It's flexible. But I found that when I'm adding a date anchor, I find it a lot easier because I'm not getting confused with the positions, with the images in each place, because I use this same memory palace over and over and over all the time. Now, I get confused at thinking, oh, the 8 of hearts over here. I think I actually managed to remember this one in the test, because I'd made it quite a visual thing in my mind. It's kind of like putting a heart into a grinder. The couch is turned into these 2 big cogs, like a grinding machine cogs, and I put the heart and it's sort of splattering everywhere. Again, a bit of a gruesome image, but it sticks in the person's mind. It sticks in my mind anyway. But I use this location a lot. I use it all the time. So I need to differentiate between the dates, the times of when I've used this. Let me think, it was around the, I think it was sorry, I'm just trying to remember the date off the top of my head. Again, the date anchor thing, and I can kind of maybe test myself here a little bit, is if I remember on the 10th day of the year, the January the 10th, I think the image was something like the word might have been other. Yeah, it might have been other on that one there. I think that was on the 10th. Let's take a look. I am curious now that I've said that. 10 there. Open it. There you go. Other. Okay, cool. Because I imagined, in this case, my brother Daz, I imagined sitting at that chair with him, playing on this organ, and TH is I have a bigram for TH. A bigram is where it is the most common two letters that come together in the English language. I'm sure there's bigrams for every language around the world, but ones that use like a what would you call, like a Roman ABC Latin alphabet thing, not like Chinese and Japanese. Anyway, besides the point, I sat at the organ. I imagined thorns spiking up through the organ keys into our hands, and then a rope wrapping around our hands. I don't need the E, because OTHR, I know that word is other. I can't think of any other word that it could be. So anyway, back to my point is that by using this date anchor, I was able to remember that this was in this location in my memory palace on the 10th day of the year, it was this word. So I'm not going to get as mixed up with the 8 of hearts that we saw before, the heart getting grinded up into those two cogs. Now, I might get confused later if I then do another memory palace or another deck of cards memorization without placing that date anchor in there. So that's really important. I think I've found that I've tried to do that actively during my when I've had conversations or watching TV. I am trying to add a memory anchor in there. A date anchor in there. The other thing is, I'll try and do another one just right off the top of my head right now. It just popped in a second ago, which was 22, the day 22, which in my major system date anchor is the word nun, N-U-N. And if I remember right, I was sat at this sofa with the nun, and this is not going to be easy, guys. I'm actually trying to remember this on the fly here, so just give me a second while I try and pick it out the depths of my memory. It was something like, there was an N in the word. I think there was an A. I think there was an S next. Or N-A-T. Actually, it might have been, we were looking at a table here with a train on it, and I think I tried to use a rope to grab an apple. The nun asked me to grab a rope off the floor over here. Now, that's the important thing that I've been trying to do as well, is involve the date anchor thing or person. Usually I find a person easier to remember as the date anchor. They were trying to get me, I remember the word now, actually, it's just popped into my head. They were trying to get me to pick up an apple with a rope. It didn't work, so I used a net. So that's train, rope for R, A for apple. I used a net instead, T-R-A-N, tran, and then the nun bit into the apple. It was a spider, trans, and then the whole word is transactions. I'm pretty sure of that now. And then the nun puts the apple down on the table. It becomes a car out of the apple, hits the train, so A-C-T, and then there's a load of fire on the table, so we get an ice gun out to try and like cool it down to get rid of the fire. The organ, this thing runs over and tries to pat it down with its hands, but that doesn't work, and instead it burns its hands. Instead, the nun suggests to the organ use a net instead, and I'm talking like a lacrosse net here, sort of bash out the fire. And when it's bashed out, the fire then turns into out of the fire sort of comes this horrible big spider thing. Anyway, blah blah blah. That's the sort of the way I did it. So if I go back to 22 over here, which was the nun, let's see if it was transactions, yeah. I'm sorting out this UI, guys. By the way, the words are going to be across the top here, and when you hover over the memory palace location, the word is going to appear here, because this is it's too big. You know, it's too messy, it's too big, and you can't see what is behind the images as well. So that will be changed. But yeah, again, so back to my point about the memory anchor, the date anchor here. I think that's really important. What I've got to do is, for this set of cards here, is if I go back to this one, because I'm sort of testing myself on this at the moment, the card deck randomized, is I've got to go through these again, but with a date anchor for this specific date, of course, like, you know, whatever the date is today, 8th, 9th of February, whatever the day number of the year is. I think it's 38 or 39, and then save that. The other thing is, what I can't do is, this is part of the application development as well, is I can't then randomize it like here. Oh, sorry, not start test. I can't go to randomize here. Randomize basically randomizes all of these, and then save it again, because what will happen is, in the report section here, it will basically be I'll be doing a different set of cards. So I've realized that now. This is through sort of practice and just starting to use the application. I have to give a deck of cards a specific name, so it could be card deck February 9th or whatever, and then I can see my trailing recall over time. So I remembered what, like 60% on the 7th day or whatever. 2 weeks later I remembered 4%, 2 weeks, whatever it may be, okay? I can't mix around the randomized cards. They have to stay the same. Now, I'm just talking about application development there, guys. It's not super important to this conversation. But I have to go through this specific list again, and then try to recall this set of cards in this order. If I want to do a separate set of cards, what I'll have to do here is I'll have to randomize them again, create it like this. They've all just been randomized, and then save it as a card deck, you know, different name, whatever here, whatever, February 9th. I'll do that in a moment. So the other point I wanted to mention as well, like, and tell me if you guys agree, or if you found this to be the case for you as you've been working on your memorization techniques. As I'm trying to remember things throughout the day, just random stuff. This might be I do this when I'm driving. I try to remember license plates on cars, just because they're random numbers, and it's a good little, you know, it's a good little test for me to do, and I enjoy it, and it keeps me. I'm trying to improve my memory that way. I'm now adding a date anchor when I'm driving in the streets, and I see a car, and it's got like the number plate MF56 or whatever. I'm not trying to memorize the location. I'm not trying to memorize that registration plate there and then in that location. I'm trying to bring those images into my memory palace with the date anchor as well. Now that's what I was doing wrong before, or at least I think that this new way has helped me. So basically, if I see MF56 in a car tomorrow, I will know the date anchor of tomorrow, whatever it is, day 38 or 39. I'll have my memory anchor word from the major system, and as I'm memorizing those registration plates, just the first few letters or whatever, I will place them in the memory palace. I won't try to remember them as an image on the road in the street, because I just won't remember. I found that just the other day as I was driving around. I was actively trying to memorize these into my memory palace, and I found that later in the day I was able to recall them much better than I was if I was just trying to randomly remember the letters in the location that I saw them. And without a date anchor, it's just very difficult. So I can't remember off the top of my head all of them right now, but I remember, like, for example, I think it was on the day 36 in the 10th, not the 10th, the 15th, 14th, the 13th one. 13th letter that I remembered was yellow. A Y, sorry, it was the letter Y. The next one was number 14 was L. And I think the next one was 1. Now, I remembered that by having the, I've not saved it here. I can't prove that. I can't prove to myself that I remembered that correctly or not. But the way that I did it was MJ, so 3 and I believe 6, if I'm right. Yeah, 6, 3 and 6. So that's number 36, 36th day of the year, and MJ I remember is Michael Jackson. It's just the first thing that pops into my head is Michael Jackson. I remember him being in position 13 in my memory palace, which is the shower over here, and he's got yellow paint pouring on him from the shower. So position 13, Michael Jackson, the 13th day of the year, it's got yellow paint all over him, it's Y. I then remember him coming down to the window here and climbing into a like a small luggage box as a contortionist, like, you know, when like a gymnast that can sort of wrap themselves up like in a circus into a tiny box. I was like, wow, Michael Jackson, oh my god, I didn't know you could do that. So I remember L for luggage. That's my mnemonic for the letter L. The other one I think over here was him getting I think it was an arrow in the heart and dying on the washing machine. So that was how I remembered that one. I think I can't remember the next one exactly. It doesn't matter anyway for the sakes of this video. But that's the thing I've got to do. The other final kind of point I wanted to make to everyone is I personally, and this is what I'd like to get feedback on, guys and girls, is one of the things that I want to improve is my working memory, and I've figured this out, or I've come to this kind of realization more and more as I've gone along. Now, I don't care. Well, I mean, it's not important to me to remember the 3 of diamonds and the Jack of clubs and the 7 of hearts, you know, in these positions a year later. It's interesting if I remember them and whatever. What I really want to do is improve my working memory so that when I have conversations, that when I'm doing something technical, because I'm a programmer full-time as well as I'm a software engineer, I want to remember complicated stuff. I want to, because we often have complicated conversations, technical conversations. I want to improve my intelligence at the end of the day, and from my basic kind of research and looking more into memory, working memory is one of the faculties that we have and use in order to improve our intelligence. It's like we have a larger, it's like, say we're at the table here and I'm trying to piece together a puzzle of some kind, and I've got more space, more memory of pieces, or a bigger picture in order to pull from, in order to solve the problem. That's what I understand working memory to be and how it relates to intelligence. Now, visualization has something to do with that, and it's certainly helpful to be able to recall things later. What I'm trying to do is figure out whether my working memory is improving. That's sort of the main thing for me in building this application, is not whether or do I recall a deck of cards, you know, X amount of days later? That's cool. It's interesting to know whether I'm able to recall it or not, whether my ability to memorize book passages in books longer and longer is improving, yes or no. But working memory is what I'm interested in, and what I plan to do as well is in this test section here is add a couple more different tests. Now, one of them is the N-back test, N for Norman. That is from what I understand, a standard psychological test to check working memory. So what they do is they'll have a series of numbers like I'll just write it down in here if I go to File, New, whatever. What they'll have is a sort of random set of numbers here, like this, and the N-back test will say, okay, actually I'll just have 4 and 6 for now, or 4 and 5. What was the number 1 number ago? Oh, it was 5. Okay. What was the number 2 numbers ago? Okay, it was 4. Now obviously the person isn't being shown these numbers. Then you add a number. Okay, what was the number 2 numbers ago? 5. Okay, add a number. What was the number 4 numbers ago? 4. Okay, let's add another number. What was the number 3 numbers ago? What was the number 3 numbers ago? What was the number 4 numbers ago? And so on and so forth. And this is a test of working memory. One of the other tests that I'd like to do, and I've been doing this online a couple of times, which I really enjoy doing, is memorizing words within a set of time. So again, within this tests panel here, I'll have different tests. Right now, all it's doing is I'm starting a test based on the memory palaces that I've created, which is great. But the other one that I do want to add is the word memorization one, whereby you have a random set of words that pop up for 1 second each, and I've done it with 15 words, and I'm able to recall all 15 words. I've done it now. They could be abstract words, they could be more tangible words, you know, real word like car or something, or dog, or whatever it may be. But then there's words like therefore. Okay, right. So that's interesting. How do I remember the word therefore? So I want to include that one, and I think there's another one as well. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but I will certainly be adding more tests. I don't think I'll be doing that for the first version. I would like to get an early beta version out for the testers who are interested. I like this hot dog one here. The one that it's interesting as I'm learning about how my memory works and how I remember things, is what visually works, what doesn't work, and trying to use images that I remember easily. Like for example, this one over here, which is position, I think it's oh boy, I think it's 46. It doesn't matter right now, but I remember it's a TNC, the 10 of clubs. And this one I think is the 5 of hearts. Let's just try it, while we're here. 10 of clubs, 5 of hearts. Where is it? Right, there we go. Could be wrong. 10 of clubs, 5 of hearts. There we go. Cool. So that's basically, I imagine, sort of a car and a train bashing into each other and squishing this hot dog together, and the mustard splattering everywhere. Imagine me throwing a 5 of a ninja star at a dartboard that has a heart on it, and it sort of squelching and splattering blood everywhere. This was a bit of a spooky one. The Queen of England, she sat down in this chair, and all of a sudden her chest opens up and she becomes like this spider monster thing. That was pretty spooky to think about. This one I used the safe, which was, I remember opening up the safe and seeing a golden apple and a golden car, and them being extremely heavy. So yeah, I just wanted to share progress, guys. I know a few of you mentioned that you're interested in the beta. I am timeline wise, I'm not sure at the moment. It's a case of trying to get the basics up and running, and then figuring out from a new user perspective what will work and what won't work. For example, the images. Like, I need to add the functionality for people to change these images. This 6-pack here on the guy is my mnemonic for the number 6. S for spider works for me because I'm scared of spiders. So you've got to have the ability to change these. The other one is the ability to add bigrams as well. Again, things like TH So 2 letters together, TH, that is the number 1 bigram in the English language from what I understand, from what I've read. So instead of trying to remember 2 separate images, I just use the image of a thorn, as in a thorn on a rose. And I've done it for other ones as well. I think ER was erotic or erotic novel, I think I'd used. I've not done so much with the cards, which is probably why it's a bit better for me to continue working with the code book that I've been memorizing here. So it's yeah. So I was trying to think what I'd remembered in those different dates. So it's going to be interesting for me to go back and see if I can recall them. But yeah, changing the images, the ability for you to add a single image for a word. So let's say if you wanted to add in the word here in this position, which was like the top 100 words in the English language, like the, okay? My mnemonic for the word the is the scene from Dumb and Dumber where Jim Carrey is trying to say the word the, and he can't say it because he doesn't know how to read, and he keeps on saying te. So I thought it was pretty funny. It's the first thing that pops into my head. So that's a single image that I can use for the word the. I don't have to remember T for train, H for heart, E for elephant, and then try and think up a scenario with those 3 for that word. For the top 100 words that I want to remember in the English language, I can increase that to 1,000. But I need the ability to put those in here. And I think I've already done that, but I need the ability to, have options here where I can show both words and single images per letter. So that's why the UI is going to change, because you can imagine here if I've got the word the again here, if I just put a new one here and write the word the, create, that's going to be in position 1. If I go back, there you go, the. If I've got the here and I've got the Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels scene from Dumb and Dumber here, and then I've got another image here for TH, as in the bigram, the thorn, it's just too many. Plus, if I wanted to add a memory anchor word. So, and, if I was going to do it over here with 3, plus I want to add in the number for the memory palace location. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and so on. It's going to be too much. So I did post a mock-up image on my Facebook page, and I'm going to have the words across the top here for 1 letter per image, and then the image and the bigram. So it'll be, 1 image first, I guess, then the bigrams. I've got to decide, but I'll add that as an option. So one is giving the user, you guys, the ability to do that, and the second thing is being able to customize those images again, because your images and mnemonics are completely different to mine, probably. In fact, I'm almost 100% sure they will be. So anyway, I hope this wasn't too much rambling. I hope you enjoyed it. I do like to talk and give updates on these because people have shown interest. Ping me if you want to be part of the developer beta program to just test this out and give me your feedback. I've added some bigger images here to try to make these a bit clearer. This one was my poor little doggy the other day, and he was stuck in the bottle, and I tried to smash it to get him out, but when I smashed it, it was an apple. So that's the Ace of Diamonds. Let's see if I'm right. This was 2 days ago. I remembered this one. Randomized, I think. I could be wrong, of course. Ace of Diamonds, there we go. My poor doggy. So yeah, drop me a message on the Facebook page, guys, for Retentional if you're interested. The more that people say, hey, they're interested, the more it sort of drives me to make it more of a user-friendly thing that other people can use, and not just something that I can use because I know how to use it. I've got to think about how it's going to be working for other people as well. But yeah. All right. Thank you very much, guys, for listening, and more news coming soon.